Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, we'll be dressed in red tomorrow.
Wow.
No doubt.
Well, y'all go and peruse around a little bit. Hi, I'm Jane. I am the third generation to operate Priddy's General Store here. This store was established in 1888 by the Hartman family. We're staying in the little community called Hartman. My grandparents took it over just days after the stock market crash of October of 1929. So my grandparents operated from 1929 to 1960. And then my mom and dad took it over in 1960, Pat and Elwood. And now I am the sole proprietor of the business. Well, I've been here for 23 years though, working, so spent my whole life here. This is my childhood. We rode bikes out here, played hide and seek and tag with the kids. It's my life, it's my childhood. It's a lot of good memories here, and I just love sharing these good memories and a taste of the past and what community is like with everybody that loves to come out and visit us now. We've been very blessed, and I'm just very thankful that the old store is still here for us to share with others. Okay. All right, guys, come on, I'll give you a tour of Priddy's General Store. Of course, this old store, our goal here is to allow you to experience the taste, the sight, the sound, and the feel of the good old days. It's very authentic. There's some things that we used to do here that we don't do here anymore, and that is pumping gas. When I was growing up, I had to pump gas and come out here, but the gas tank sat here, and but we no longer pump any gas anymore. The old kerosene tank, we used to wind out kerosene out for customers. Don't do that anymore, but it's there for a memory. This side of the store was built in the early 50s. My dad was a McCulloch chainsaw dealer and a snapper lawnmower dealer, and he expanded the store to include more hardware. And many a times, you know, I've seen him work on chainsaws out here on this old porch and have the door open in the summer working. And that was the old garage that he had. My grandmother, you know, operated the store from 1929 to 1960, but he built that to repair cars and everything. And back in the back is where we do our live bluegrass music in the month of October. And my dad's old tractor sitting there, and he parked that there the day he passed away, and I just haven't had the heart to move it. So it's a memory of him, and again, just a little reflection of the past and, you know, how life was here, you know, growing up. I was very fortunate to be able to grow up here and get off the school bus and get me a glass bottle Mountain Dew and a pack of barbecue potato chips. And, you know, this was our pantry. You know, growing up at home, we never stored anything. We never went to the grocery store. We'd always run up here and get everything that we needed. So, again, like I said, we just try to tell the story of the past, and sometimes that includes some newer versions of things. I've always wanted a mural on the side of the store. We've got to get the old store painted, but our Arts Council had a project going on and helped with this project to have a vinyl mural put on the side of the store with the beautiful art of Tony Craig, who has a love for old general stores, and he shares with us the love of this old store and keeping it going. And you know, the thing about this store and what has really kind of kept it going is the love of the community and the community input and the help that we have, from helping to build the stage out back to whatever it be. But the community has been a big part. And I've said, you know, it bears the name of Priddy's General Store, but you know, that name could be anybody's name that comes and visits here. You could put your name up there, because when you come here, you know, we want you to be a part of our family and what we're all about. Well, come on inside and I'll show you a little bit of the things that we sell here. And hang on, I'm going to, and let's just see what they bought today. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all going to be part.
We've been talking. Not a
So some of the things that we sell, as that our customers, where are y'all from today?
Clayton, North Carolina.
Well, welcome. So some of the things that we sell: dried apples, so you make your own fried apple pies.
Yes, ma'am, and that's what they'll be for.
And hoop cheese, June Daisy hoop cheese, some of the best. Yes.
And I've never had white rind cheese before.
Okay.
red or black?
Well, this is aged.
Okay.
Do you know about the age, June Daisy? You do?
I do know about age, but
Okay.
I've never had any of the white rum.
Do you know why it's made in the month of June?
No.
So this is Wisconsin cheese, and they feed the cows on the fresh spring grass in the spring months, and that's when they make this cheese. That's why it's aged.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So people say, is it sharp or is it mild? I'm like, it's just perfect, and it tastes better at room temperature.
Very good.
Yes, it's okay. So we got a water, a Pepsi Cola, the dried apples, peanut butter delight, the hoop cheese, and a little pack of crackers. $17.70 sounds much better there.
Still there outside.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. I don't know how long y'all been standing here waiting, but I appreciate your
We've been
patience.
talking.
We were talking because we're hopping from one general store to another.
Oh,
today.
wow.
That's what we're doing.
And then we're going to
Nice.
Charleville,
Nice.
and she told us about Madison. So.
Very good.
So
Well,
anyway,
y'all have a
thank you
great
so much.
day. Thank
Take
y'all. Bye-bye.
Jetty May. M-A-E.
May. Okay.
Yeah, her name is Jettie.
She may have been a cousin to my grandpa, because grandpa's brothers and sisters, there was no Jetty there, but could have been a cousin, had to be related somehow. And they were in that Peters Creek area, which is up near the Virginia line, the Snow Creek, Peters Creek area.
Is it near Lawsonville? Okay. I've
is.
heard the name Lawsonville.
Yeah. The most popular thing that we sell here, of course, is the Cheerwine Cola, which was made right here in North Carolina. But we are known for our glass bottle sodas because, I mean, again, that's what you had to drink, back in the day with your moon pie or your bologna sandwich was a glass bottle soda. Of course, the Coke bottles were smaller, and they would play a game called Traveling, on the bottom of the bottle and everything. But yeah, the glass bottle sodas, a thing of the past. The old-fashioned candies that we have, and this is an old bin that I found upstairs and kind of cleaned up and put some candy back in there. And you got to have a moon pie, but one of our most favorite desserts that we sell is the old-fashioned dried apple pies that are made up in Ararat, Virginia by Southern Traditions. She uses the dried apples. We sell the dried apples here too if you want to make those. We have homemade sourdough bread. The old-fashioned candies, our most popular is the chocolate covered peanuts. And again, our goal is to have those things that you just don't find, like the coconut bar. People just don't see that all the time. The rock candy. And of course, we got all kinds of little candies and things over here for the kids. And I love it, when the kids say, let's go to the candy store. They know us as the candy store versus Priddy's General Store. And I love that. But we do have some produce here, not a lot, but we do a lot of the old beans, the dried pinto beans, We scoop them out of the barrel for folks, and the old-fashioned bag candy, biscuits. We don't make, this generation, we don't know how to make biscuits, and thank goodness for Atkinson's. They help us they make us look like we know what we're doing. But, we have some of the newer stuff additions. We've got some of the Missions pottery in here with our own little logo on it. We sell our labeled muscadine juices and things that we have, bottled elsewhere. We have local Stokes County honeys. This man wins blue ribbons. He's got the best honey in the whole wide world. And all of our jams and our jellies, some of the new things that we've just added that's been really popular is our strawberry butter, our cherry butter. We have a local lady that makes an old recipe, this homemade salsa. And the majority of these things come out of North Carolina, some of them Stokes County. We got the ciders, and you got to have the pork and beans and the Vienna sausages. If you don't want a bologna sandwich, you've got that. But and here's some more of the pottery that we have. And of course, back in the day, everybody used cast iron. They cooked over a fire. So our selections right now is a little bit low of our lodge. It's right after Christmas, but we sell a lot of that. And again, we've got some of the old-fashioned candies that are, kind of back here. And the boots that we have, we sell boots. Like I said, we're a true general store. We have a little bit of everything. So we have, a boot selection. our kids' boots that we sell a lot of. And of course, you know, a lot of overalls were sold here, you know, and that was, you know, that's what men wore back in the day. So we have made in America roundhouse overalls out of Oklahoma that we're very proud to still have American made. And they even take care of the little girls with the little pink ruffle on the camouflage overalls. And then we have our little Priddy gear for the kids too. And I love this because it's designed after the drawer handle. And a friend of mine came up with that idea. So in this room, which I don't let anybody over, is the old hardware department. And there's some nails and there's some electrical things over there, but it's kind of closed off to the public right now because it's kind of my junk room. But again, this kind of reflects when my dad was operating the store. This is, you know, there was more things sold here of like motor oil, spark plugs. Again, I've pulled most of the hardware out over here, little snippets, chainsaw files, mouse traps, you know, some plumbing things. Again, if something breaks, I love it because usually I can find something here to fix it. And that's the beauty of it, you know, of being a general store. But, you know, we have a lot of local artisans that we sell their wares. This beautiful bear carving that we sell, a lot of local art that we sell of the store. Some of our soda pop bottles have been converted into hummingbird feeders. So we like to repurpose stuff out here. We don't throw anything away in the country. That's why everything's just kind of piled up and it stays there. It's a resource. And we have an older gentleman. These are actual Stokes County tobacco sticks that were actually used to house tobacco. Tobacco was a crop here that sustained the store. But these are actual tobacco sticks, and they have an actual tobacco tag that was on tobacco that they sold, the plug tobacco. So this is a little piece of history that also serves as a walking stick for you. So, you know, some of the cool things about the store, you have to kind of look in detail. And some of the things that I love most about the store is like the fixtures of the store. Like, for example, the old door knob here. And the fixture here where the old key goes in. Now this key is since 1888. And the Hartmans, my grandparents, my mom and dad, and even I use this key to unlock the door of the store here. And I just think that's really cool that many generations and the history of how many times the door was opened with this key. It's very fragile, so we put another lock on and we don't use this lock like we used to. But these old doors, I mean, they're just so cool. I just love, I love the old doors. And again, I mean, they're solid as a rock. I mean, the old things that were built and made back in the day were built with pride, and they were made to last. I mean, again, the store's 135 years old, and it's just so cool. I'm just so grateful that we're still here and we're able to share this history with folks. And again, like I said, look, you know, when you come into the store, don't always just look at the surface. Look beneath the surface. Like I said, the drawer handles, these things, and just, I mean, there's a story to be told there. The beauty about this place is it seems to connect people. It's just always a connection being made here, and I love it when people come in and maybe they like, oh, well, we live there too, and they make connections here with other people, and oh, I hadn't seen you in 30 years or 40 years, you know, I just see that connection being made here. And again, I love the fellowship that we share with others here. And the stories, you know, they're all a part of it. We got to look maybe at the top shelf, but yes. I want to show you this piece right here. So a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you, unfortunately, are not for sale. They're kind of part of what I call our museum. But this is one of my favorite pieces. It's a nail keg that was from Belgium, and by way of the port in Wilmington, North Carolina, all the way to the railroad station in Walnut Cove, North Carolina, which is about 10 miles from here. Now granted, when Grandma and Grandpa were in the store, there were no cars. They took a whole day with their horse and their wagon to go to Walnut Cove to pick up goods. This has, on the bottom of this nail keg, has Mrs. N.D. Priddy, Danbury, NC. And that just amazes me. And I'm just wondering where they stamped that on that nail keg. Was it in Belgium? Was it in Wilmington? You know, it had to, you know, have been before it got on the train. But that is just so cool to me, that piece of history. Daddy had that over in the hardware department with rake sticks in it, rake handles in it. But if you look up here on the top shelf, that's kind of what is part of our little museum. And the majority of everything that you see up there is something that was sold in this store at one point in time. The old signs that you see in here once were on the outside of the store. My dad sold a lot of the metal signs back in the early 80s, but these are a few that we were able to hold on to. That Pepsi Cola sign right there, it was nailed to the top of the roof when Daddy had the tin replaced on the store, and we found that and pulled it off and had a bunch of tar on it. But another thing that's really cool that I like that's on the top shelf is my grandmother's old adding machine. It's an Amco adding machine, the brown adding machine there under Turner South. Yeah, Turner South was here at one time doing a little segment. But again, those are goods and things that we used to sell here. And there's the Mountain Dew bottles, you know, that I used. Probably one of those is mine that I drank when I got off the school bus here with my Tom's barbecue potato chips. And I even have I have a little bag of a barbecue Tom's potato chip up here. I just hold on to everything. So this right here is an old receipt. So it's dated September the 9th, 1949. So they didn't get power here until the late 40s. So grandmother bought a new giant dry cooler because back in the day they didn't have electricity, so they kept their drinks cold with, you know, ice. But this was one that plugged in, and it showed where she paid so much a week for a Coca-Cola cooler, which was at that time $345. She paid them $5 a week. And of course she would sign Grandpa's name to it, I guess. But this was, you know, the bill. And then this fellow out of Lexington years ago wrote this article, and that's a picture of my grandmother there on the front porch of the store back in the late 40s, early 50s. Pretty much, everything, this part of the floor has been replaced, but if you could envision when my dad took over, it was important to him to have more shelf space so he could put more products in here. This is part of the original counter that went up and down each side of the store, and Dad took that out to put shelves in here to put more stock and everything on it. But this is the original counter, and of course he added, you know, this top on it because you can see the original. This is, this is pine, I'm pretty sure, but this is what the top of the counters look like. But this is original. The other thing that is original is I love this thing right here. This, of course, a lot of old general stores had a ladder that, you know, would slide to get things off of the top shelf. But this thing right here was how you got things off of the top of the shelf. Now, when I was growing up in here, when all the old men would gather in this corner right here and talk and solve the world's problems, this was the gathering spot. You know, the pop crates were here, and all the men would gather, and I would play a trick on them. I would reach over and grab their cap off of their head, making them mad. But that's a cool piece here. That's one of the, you know, old original pieces as well. Bologna sandwiches And it's something, you know, my grandmother did, and my mom and dad, and we're just continuing that tradition here. We don't do any cooking here. We just assemble sandwiches. So, you know, so bologna, you know, used to be referred to as poor man's steak, right? Well, not anymore. I mean, bologna's become pretty exclusive and almost expensive as filet mignon out there. When you eat a bologna sandwich from Priddy's, we say you're eating high on the hog. So the bologna that we use is Bryan bologna, and it was originated in North Carolina. And because we don't have a lot of things in the old general store, so what we do have, we try to have the best of the best. And so I researched the best tasting bologna in the state of North Carolina, and it was Bryan bologna. Of course, it got bought out by Sara Lee Corporation, I think, owns them now, which has Sara Lee bread, so kind of matches up, right? And we always have to cut our sandwiches in half. We used to not do that. I don't know, it's probably 20 some years or so ago. A fella came up and was like, make sure you cut my sandwich in half. And me with my analytical mind, I had to think about that. Why? Because he said, cut my sandwich in half because they taste better. And I'm like, how is that? You know, how do they taste better cut in half? So I had to analyze it. So if you look at the sandwich, when you bite in the center of that sandwich, you get a perfectly balanced bite of everything that's in that sandwich. So if you bite from the outside, you're going to get a mouthful of, you know, the crust of the bread. So that's why they taste better cut in half. So and we serve the Conrad and Hinkle pimento cheese here. They have a store in downtown Lexington, great friends of ours. And they've been making this pimento cheese for over 100 years. And we sell a lot of their pimento cheese here. And I mean, it just goes into, you know, the old general store. It was a place where you went for everything. So, I mean, back in the day, you know, today we've got visitors coming up, but back in the day, the farmers had to have somewhere to go and take a break, maybe after farming or plowing their fields for, I guess, you know, like the old Dr. Pepper bottle, 10, 2, and 4. They'd have a snack and had to have lunch or something. So if people didn't get a sandwich, they'd get a can of pork and beans and crackers, or cheese and crackers, hoop cheese and crackers. So, but being a general store, we have to do everything. You know, we're all about the taste, the sight, the sound, and the feel of the good old days. So we just try to be all those things. Well, it's just something good about the simplicity of it, you know?
Yes, it is.
You know, everything else, I get tired of eating, but I could eat a bologna sandwich 3 times a day. And every time I make one, it's like the smell of it and everything's like, I'm so tempted, you know. All right, there's your card back. So what else are you guys gonna do today?
Break out the chainsaw.
So a tree down or just some trim work to be done? Okay, Madison, we're going to continue a tradition that my grandmother had. So back when my grandmother ran the store, kids were very poor. They didn't have a lot of money. So every kid that came in the store, I always heard that grandma would give them a piece of candy. So since you've been so good today, I want you to come over here and pick you out of anything you want, a piece of candy today. Okay? But yeah, I have a lot of the older folks tell me, you know, that's one of their memories is them coming in here and not having the money to buy candy, but my grandmother would always give them something. Yeah. First time here. How'd you find out about us?
Well,
Seeing you on Facebook.
Yeah, everybody knows you're here. Live in this area.
Well, thank y'all for visiting with us. And we got 1 pound and 12 ounces on the tomatoes. 1 pound, 12 ounces. All right, it's $27.41.
I just thought that was so unique, and Paul and I enjoy watching the hummingbirds come up, and feed in the summertime. And when I saw that on Facebook, I'm like, oh wow, that's something that we both like.
Well, I think there's some of the most attractive, prettiest hummingbird feeders
Oh,
that
yeah.
are actually out there.
Yep.
No doubt.
Get that same, so you hear that kind without breaking it. You guys plant a garden?
No, not yet.
Our yard is not
Conducive, yeah.
garden friendly. We have a lot of shade.
You can never have enough friends.
That's
right?
Oh, that's so true.
There's your receipt.
Okay.
And thanks, y'all.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming to visit. You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
See you later. See
See you
next
later.
time.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Well, now comes to my favorite part, and it's front porch sitting. When I get a break from my busy work in the store, I get to sit out here sometimes with my friends, and this is Todd Fulmer. This is Wayne Hopkins, Frank Duncan, and this is Madison and Brittany. That's Todd's daughter and grandchild. But these guys play a very important role in what I do here and have helped me do what I have done here. But Todd loves bluegrass music and talked me into doing my first bluegrass shindig here. And it started out here on the front. Everybody was standing out here, sitting out here. But, he loves to dance so much that he built a dance platform back there for me. Just showed up one day, he's like, I'm going to build this. So he's worn it out, but a lot of people come now just to see Todd dance because he's like the Michael Jackson of flat-footing. I mean, he's amazing to watch. And this fella right here, I've known him my whole life, but I've gotten to know him a lot more, and this is Wayne the past few years. This is my dancing partner. And he usually comes every day for his great knee-high soda and likes to help me do little odds and ends when he can here, and I appreciate him very much. And we, again, the front porch is a great place that we've turned it into front porch devotions in the morning. We share a devotion usually in the morning together. And then beside him is Frank, and Frank is our celebrity here. He is an amazing artist, and he was one of the first that painted the store. And Frank is just a great friend and supporter, and has just helped me here by allowing me to use his artwork for our business cards and things like that. But he's just kind of helped just tell the story here too. And then we got the next generation here, with Brittany and Madison, and I just love it. I don't know, I just love being out here with friends and family. Well, they're like family too. But front porch sitting's the best.
It is. It's the Priddys. This is the Priddys family. We're from all different mothers, but Priddys is the gathering place for people to enjoy their fellowship and fun here. And I've been coming here since 1997, and like Jane said, we talked about how might we generate more income for the store, because I just loved it. It's like a time machine when you walk in it, and everybody just, there's a feeling you get coming into these doors, and this hospitality that Jane offers, and you can see it coming through right now. That she just draws you in. She's a wonderful witness for the Lord, and she shines Christ's love through her contact with other folks, and I think that shows through. But we got the idea of bluegrass here in the front, and we see how it would go and how many people would come. So we scheduled bands that year, and
You booked the first band, and
yeah.
we've been going this year 22 years.
22
right?
years, yeah, and going strong, going very strong.
Yeah.
And what I see in the gatherings, that we see people who are in upper age getting on the dance floor, all the way down to Madison's age, 4, 5 years old, and you can see that large span of age enjoying and the same entertainment. And it's just this closeness and togetherness that is amazing. You don't see it in many places, you really don't, but this is one of those places that's so special in that way. And we have great bluegrass bands that come
Yeah, one of the
from
bands
all
lives
around.
right across the road over there.
Right, we got such local talent here in Stokes County, but they come from all over. We're getting them out of Virginia and in Tennessee also. I mean, so it's just a fun time. It's really something.
I think Todd really tapped into something that I really love about the bluegrass music events, and it is the age gap. Where else do you see, 2 and 3 year olds dancing with, 60, 70, 80, even 90-year-olds on the stage? And to see that, and again, where else do you see that at, where they've got something in common? And our children today need that grounding of family and their roots, and to get reconnected back with all the ages, not just the young people. But that's the beautiful thing about picking at Priddys, is seeing that. And I do want to share something else at Todd, and I thank you for saying that about my light. I want to be a light here and an encourager and inspire for people. But so my grandmother died when I was, I think, 7 or 8 years old, and as a child, you know them, but you don't really know them as to really who they are deep down inside. You knew them as a person. I knew her as my grandmother. And so when people would come in and they say, I remember your grandmother working in here, I would say, tell me a memory about my grandmother. And, I shared a memory there about the candy. My grandmother, helped people in this community. It was more than just selling things. It was here as a resource center. So about 3 years ago, a family member showed up, and we were sitting back there at the table talking and fellowshipping like we are here. And she says, oh yeah, I remember Miss Lula. And this lady was probably about 80. And I says, well, tell me what you remember about my grandmother. And she says, oh, if anybody knew Miss Lula, it was God, family, and customers. And I about fell out of my chair, because that's how I feel here. It's and people look at me and they think I'm crazy. I mean, the college degree, you didn't use your college degree to go make money. Well, I'm sitting here because God led me back here, and I couldn't deny it. Most people would have ran, and I'm thankful that I had a husband who was the breadwinner of the family that allowed me to continue this tradition on. Because when you look at this store, yeah, I might be the face sitting here now, but there's many faces that are behind this. And my grandparents and my parents worked hard. They had to work hard because this was how they made the living, to put the food on the table. For me, I'm sharing that tradition and that hard work of, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when times were really tough. But I'm blessed and I'm fortunate, and there's no other way to explain it, but God's got his hands in it. And you can see that here. I mean, the store is a testament to many, many, many things, but there's something else bigger and stronger behind it than me or Todd or Wayne or Frank. My grandparents, my parents, there's something bigger here than us. And I think that's what you feel when you come here.
Definitely.
It's not me.
You said it. Yeah.
It's what you feel when you come here, and what has been put through here through generations.
Right.
And that's more important for me to share than anything else that I've told you today.
Yeah.
I remember years ago I brought my chainsaw over. Mr. Priddy, he worked on my chainsaw. That's been a few years ago. And I met her mama, well, I knowed her a long time, when her father, and they was dating years back.
I've been coming to the store since 1984. I remember Jane's dad, and of course her mom, just recently passed away. But the idea for doing the painting came from Todd. He's, I consider him my best friend. But I remember shooting the photographs from that hill over there when they had everybody out here playing. And It took about 30 hours to do the painting, but we got it finished, and I'm proud of it. And it's sold a lot of prints from it. But the store is unique. Coming from an area that I've seen develop real fast, we moved out because of that. We wanted to get back to the rural area, and coming back here is like stepping back in time, and really enjoy the store and the people that are here. And the music. Love bluegrass music also. I'm not the dancer Todd is, but I do enjoy a little flat-footing. But it's a unique store.
Of course, you know, I've told you about, growing up here, and all the kids would come over at night. The men would come and sit around, and all of us would come back here and play. I mean, like, again, play hide and seek and tag, and I mean, this was, So now we've all grown up, so we do the bluegrass music events back here because they outgrew the front porch, if you will. But so, in October, we have a yard full of bluegrass fans. It's like a big family reunion. And of course, everything's just kind of covered up right now. It looks beautiful with decorations of mums and stuff when we have the music, but the dance platform is covered up, with the tin here. This is the dance platform that Todd built, and then the stage was built, 19 years ago. And the man that built this told me that it was built out of a pine tree that I used to climb as a child right across the road from the store. And we are all about locally grown bluegrass back here. Yeah. And the man's just stand up here and have a great time, and front porch of the cabin, and great music and a lot of fun. Like I said, it's like a family reunion. And you see Madison running around playing. I mean, that's my life right there, just running around playing back here, and life. It was good. The freedom, and the freedom that we share when the families come. And like I said, the kids come and they're not afraid to let the kids run around and play and go and dance with strangers on the stage. And
well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I've had a great time here today. We've been having people leave comments and telling us that we need to come here, and we just happened to be in North Carolina for the past few days. And I called Jane and asked if we could come today, and she said come on over. And I let her tell you a little bit about how to find the place, and the information also will be in the down in the description below.
yeah, you guys come on out and share some front porch sitting with us right here at Priddy's General Store, nestled at the base of the Sartown Mountains, home to Hanging Rock State Park. I promise you'll make great memories here to take back home with you.
See y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lord, for that one.